What is going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here today for a very special mail day. We have a Startstock pickup, which I thought was a really good deal, and bucket list card. You could probably guess, anyone that watches the channel for a while probably knows what's in this box. But yeah, we got a bucket list card in here, Startstock pickup here. So let's start with the Startstock pickup. Spoiled this on a live stream, I think. But and actually, there's a funny story about this Starstock pickup too. So this got posted. I saw this on Starstock. I put like a kind of a low ball offer in, whatever. And I've been keeping an eye on what they were going for on eBay. One had just sold for $700 on eBay. And this was about a week ago. I bought this last Sunday. And shortly after, I got, hey, a listing you have an offer on has a new lowest price. Okay, cool. And I looked and it was that card and it was for $550. And I was like, you know what? I checked comps, checked pop report, whatever, let's do it. So pulled the trigger on a low pop numbered Trey Young. And what I picked up is the Optic 2018 premium box set. These cards are super undervalued, in my opinion. I mean, look at how sexy that thing is. It's kind of got like the scope look on it, if you're familiar with that, but just an absolutely gorgeous card. PSA 10 out of 249. 83 out of 249. And this is a pop 42, I think. Pop 40 or pop 42. Highly recommend these cards. They look absolutely fantastic in person. An eBay listing does not do them justice. And I think to get this for even at eBay comps, even if at $700, seems like a pretty good deal. And like I said, I got this for $550 on Starstock. And the funny part is that it's actually the person that I bought it off of, which I didn't know this obviously because I just bought it off Starstock, is someone that watches the channel. Because I made a hint that I picked up a low pop Trey Young card, and in one on the comment of that video, someone was like, "Was it this card?" And I was like, "Yes, it was." And they're like, "That's my card." So I found that funny. But even at full eBay comps at $700, I think this is a pretty good deal. For comparison's sake, he has a orange out of 199 Optic. When I say he, I mean Trey Young. That goes for I think a little under $2,000, 1,500. This is an extra 50, so it's 249 instead of 199. And the pop report's the same. The orange out of 199 is pop like 38 or 40. This is pop like 42, I think. But yeah, awesome looking card. Super excited to pick this one up. I don't know that I'll necessarily look to flip this. I think what I'm going to do is I have a bunch of other lower end Trey Young that I will probably look to move out of. Like I have a base optic PSA 10. I have a PSA 10 Prism uh, in an SGC 10. So we'll stash that back there. Let's get to the main event. This box is still sealed. I have not opened it yet. It is fresh from the FedEx truck. I wanted to open this on camera while recording, just in case there was any potential issues. So let me try not to cut myself or the mat. Very well packaged, it appears. Very well packaged. This is probably the most I've ever spent on a card. We all know what this is. I went with the PSA 8. So centering obviously off a little bit, left to right. Top to bottom is actually not too terrible, but off center, left to right for sure. But it's a PSA 8, so I'm not expecting a dead on card. Back centering, not too bad, but not that big of a deal. So we finally got one. The Topps Chrome LeBron. Feels really nice to have this in hand. Been talking about this forever. Finally pulled the trigger on it. A few different reasons why I ended up just grabbing this now. So prices on LeBron lower end stuff. And when I say lower end, I mean like BGS. I guess BGS 9.5 is not low end, but PSA 8, PSA 9, BGS 9, BGS 8.5. Those were the ones that I was kind of looking at. I had the money to go all the way up to a PSA 9, which we're going for between, they kind of bottomed out at about 4K and have gone up back up to about the mid fours. BGS 9.5s got, that was kind of a long shot pipe dream. They dipped under 5K for like a sale. One went for like 45, 4,700. And then they spiked back up to 6, 5, 7, 6K. And I've been watching these since they got eliminated from the playoffs. And it finally just got to the point where I'm like, I think this is the bottom. So there's been a lot of movement on these lately. And I think what kind of happened is, and I've mentioned this a few times before, these are starting to get into the price range of a lot of new buyers. This card. So I got, like I said, I got this for 2K. I bought it at auction on eBay. That's starting to get into the window that a lot more people can jump back in that were previously not able to afford a card like this. And I think a lot of people that are in my situation are making the move, making the play, whatever term you want to use, to say, hey, this market's dipping. I've made profits on a bunch of lower end stuff. Let me start moving into some more, GOAT level cards. Yeah, PSA 8, not the highest grade in the world, but it's pretty solid in my opinion. I think it's the perfect entry level grade for a LeBron Topps Chrome. At 2K, does it have downside? Absolutely. Every card has downside. But I feel pretty confident in that price that if I'm not concerned about moving it anytime soon, that I'll do just fine on this card long term. And when I say long term, 3, 5, 10, 15 years, if I choose to hold it that long. There is a world where, I go to the National and maybe these spike back up again. And it's a 4K card by then, and maybe I move it. I don't know. I'm not sold to keeping it forever. I would like to. What I would really like to eventually do is move into a higher grade. So I'm using this as an entry point to eventually flip up to maybe a 9 and then maybe a 9.5 and then maybe one day a 10. The reason why I went with the 8 instead of the 9, even though I could afford the 9, was I didn't going into the 9 would have essentially blown my entire budget, my fun money budget, if you will. I had about 5K set aside. The 9 got down to that price. So if I pull the trigger on the 9, that would have wiped that out, which I could build that back up. That's no big deal. But I like to have a little stash because you never know what's going to pop up. Trey Young is a perfect example. I was not looking for that card. It kind of fell into my lap. I thought it was a good deal. I thought it was a nice card. I pulled the trigger. And this was prior to them potentially making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know when I'm going to post this video. I am recording this Friday afternoon. I wanted to get it recorded as soon as the delivery came so I could get the box open. But like I said, I wanted to get it on camera. You are probably seeing this after the weekend. I will probably post this video on Tuesday morning, most likely. So a lot has happened in the NBA that I just don't know about yet at the time that you're all watching this. So for all I know, Trey Young could be in the Eastern Conference Finals or he could be heading for Cancun. Either way, I like this card long term. I'm perfectly fine holding on to this and moving off of some lower end Trey Young. I would be, if they end up making the Eastern Conference Finals and crazily enough, the NBA Finals, I would be fine flipping that card too. I'm not super attached to it, though. I usually become attached to cards the longer they sit on my desk. But back to the LeBron, the primary reason of this. So the reason why I went with the 8 is I got into it for 2K. It was like 2,100 shipped, taxes, the whole 9 yards. I thought that was a pretty fair price. It's not quite back to what it was in March, like prior to the pandemic. That's kind of what I've been watching as like a guide. Like, do they get back to that pricing? And I don't think that they do. So by going with the 8, I saved 3 grand, 2 to 3 grand, which now allows that money to be freed up to do other things. I just did not feel comfortable wiping out the entire budget on one card. I figured I'll get in with this and then I can always upgrade from this. This will always be a good starting point to move into a higher grade. Even if prices come down lower, I could still use this as 30% of whatever the price, or 40%, whatever the difference ends up being from an 8 to a 9, as a trade chip to say, hey, I'll give you the 8 plus cash, or the 8 plus other trade, or whatever, to get into a 9 or a BGS 9.5, or whatever the grade I want to move into at that point. So that's the reason why I went with the 8. I think it's a perfectly, in this level of card, I think the 8 is a perfectly fine play. Obviously, in a modern or an ultra modern card like a Luka or a Trey or a Zion, I would not want a PSA 8, obviously. LeBron's a different story, price point's different. So I can officially check this one off the list. The other thing that this does, getting in at the 8 at the lower price, it kind of gets, as I've talked about before, I've wanted this card. It gets the monkey off the back. I have it now, and it frees me up to now make plays on other stuff that I was kind of holding back on because I didn't want to spend the money until I got this locked down. So it's arrived. She's all mine finally. Looks nice on the desk. She'll be front and center for a while. We'll see how long like I said, I'm not like, if the price doubled or tripled on this thing by the national, and once again, I don't think that happens. I do think it slowly starts to creep back up again. I think we're at the bottom for like this LeBron stuff, lower end Jordan stuff, because like I talked about, now it's getting to the price range where a lot more people can afford it, and that just prevents it from going below a certain point. Because a lot of people, I have to imagine, are like me. Oh man, that PSA 8's down to 2K now. I could pull the trigger on that pretty easily. Or PSA 9's down to 4 to 5K. I could pull the trigger on that pretty easily. So that's all I got for you guys today. This was a good video to make. This felt good. This is, once it's not like, I get it. It's not like the biggest card in the world. There's plenty of people that have much more expensive cards than this. But to be able to basically buy a card like this from just slowly building up profits from flipping other stuff, that's the whole point. People get all mad about the investor slash flipper slash whatever, but this is why I think a lot of people do it. I'm not flipping just to put money in the bank to go buy a nicer car or whatever. I think a lot of us play the flip game to be able to eventually land stuff like this. Like I said, it's a 2K card. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but whether it's this, a 9, a 9.5, a 10, whatever that card is for you that you built up to, it's a good feeling. It feels good. And like I said, I think that's why a lot of us do it. So I never understood all the true collectors hating on the investors or whatever, because this is why we do it. You flip the small stuff to build the bankroll to eventually be able to afford bigger stuff. You keep doing it, you keep doing it, you keep affording bigger, better, and badder stuff. So check this one off the list. Now frees me up to make other plays on other stuff, gives me flexibility going into the national. And yeah, anytime you can check something off the bucket list, feels good. That's all I got for you guys and girls today. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff down below. We will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.